Hello, I'm Lonnie.
I'm Amberlicious.
We're on Untitled Nerd Network. This is the third episode of Loki, the review. Okay, that's all the energy I got. Used
You
it all up
wasted
in
it
the
all
first.
in the intro.
No, this episode is called. I think it's called Lamentus.
I think so.
Which is it's the name of like this planet, moon. Everything's coming crashing together, and apocalypse event. The main thing is Loki. They transport it. They fight him and the variant, whose name is Sylvie. Which I'm pretty sure Sylvie's an actual comic book character, but don't quote me on that. I feel like I've read that in like a fan theory article or something. Sylvie.
I don't
But
know.
anyway,
According to the show, though, that's what she uses as her alias.
yeah,
She is. Her name is also Loki.
yeah. I think that's goes along with it. I don't know. Speak
Well,
about
just
it.
guessing.
Speak about it in the comments, whatever.
He's just guessing.
But
You don't know.
they end up transporting to this planet that is about to experience an apocalyptic event.
Mm-hmm.
These people are escaping. They're getting onto this big transport ship they call the Ark, which is always the name of the ship that is getting ready to, save a population.
Everybody.
Yeah, the Ark. It was in 2012. It's in freaking Halo. It's in pretty much anything that you could possibly view about a apocalyptic event. And the TVA isn't barely even mentioned in this episode.
It's mentioned enough to where, like, we learned something about them, and that was it. That is about all, because they spend the whole time trying to, like, pick each other apart.
Yeah. Like, neither one of them trust the other, for good reason.
Mm-hmm.
And they just spend all this time trying to learn about the other one, just trying to figure some stuff out. Very entertaining back and forth, though. This episode, one thing that it really, really did right was it had a great mix of just great dialogue between the characters and action. It had a good, healthy mix. Entertaining. I don't know how much this episode is going to advance the plot overall, besides just some heavy character development between them two. It almost turned them into kind of sort of allies at this point, but you never want to get your hopes up when it comes to a Loki, because how many times did he literally stab Thor in the back,
Right, that was his brother,
Mm-hmm.
Hell, how many times did he get so full of himself that he fucked himself? I mean, seriously. So...
I feel like that's happening in this all over again.
Right.
You have to constantly note that this is not Endgame Loki. This is Loki immediately after the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Who was still very much an asshole.
Yes. It's a different person.
But
than the person that,
I
we
feel
saw
like
in Endgame.
I think they're trying to turn him into Endgame Loki.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of giving him a crash course in humility and so I don't know. I would almost like to see this Loki be face to face with Thor again. I mean, who knows how that would happen, but
right, who knows?
But most of this is spent like trying to get to this arc. They end up on a train, which I thought was hilarious because it's
because Rick and Morty just had a new season. That's why it's hilarious.
And not only that, did you see that article that I posted this morning on UNN where there was an article that I think it was Geek Girls posted it, but it was all of the MCU films ranked based on how much train content they had.
No, I did not know that was a thing.
And I'm wondering if that's an old article or if it was written specifically because of this episode. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure that article came out like a few days ago. Yeah, so it's kind of funny because I would almost bet that this would get a very high rating because they gave what was it they gave such a high... Oh, Captain Marvel. They gave Captain Marvel like a 10 out of 10. because there were trains in space, and also there was like a big fight on the train. You know, but then like they gave all the Guardians of the Galaxy 0 out of 10 because no trains in space and that kind of thing. But it was just kind of funny. But you know, I could do like a rip-off article of that, like, oh, you know, we're gonna rate the MCU movies based on how many boobs are in them. You know, so
yeah, that's fine. Well,
0 out of 10
remember we
across
were
the board.
doing that with Sopranos.
Oh yeah. Whether this was a nude episode or not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just looking, because there's like, you know, more than one article. Looks like this started circling around in 2019 though.
Okay. Yeah.
Everything that I've found so far. So.
I mean, yeah, I posted it on the page. I think this morning or last night, but
But I'm sure it started recirculating after this episode.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm sure it had like a following. You know,
Yeah.
there's always people who like that article. But yeah, the kind of, I don't want to call it camaraderie, but the interaction between Sylvie and Loki, and just some really funny moments. This was an entertaining episode. The one thing that I don't like about this episode, one thing that I do not like, is the fact that episode 1, 51 minutes, episode 2, 54 minutes, episode 3, 42 minutes. This episode,
it was over before we knew it.
This episode, because that counts the credits as well. This episode, the entire cinematic episode, about 36 minutes. And
it really had you on the edge of your seat, too. And then, like, the way it ended was like, wait, that's the end?
Most of these episodes are about 30% longer. The other two have been. And I was like, I was wholly expecting at least another 10 minutes. But the very, very end of the episode, they make it to the Ark. They're probably 500 feet from it, and suddenly a piece of that moon crashes through, destroys the Ark, and they are stuck there. And, like, I'll go ahead and tell you that this is going to be an easy out. It wasn't, I hated that it ended so early, but I wasn't really, I wasn't like, oh my God, what are they going to do? Because,
obviously, yeah.
There's 3 more episodes. We're almost positive that this Loki is going to survive, even though they could throw us a curveball and kill them both off and start following another Loki or something.
Sure.
I mean, you never know. You don't know. You don't know what's going to happen.
But I'm not going to hold my breath to that one.
Yeah, that wouldn't, I don't think that would happen. But I'll go ahead and tell you. Mobius, Owen Wilson's character, I'm fairly certain he's going to show up to save the day and rescue him.
Probably.
Because there's something going on. Now, you referenced a little bit ago something that I had said earlier.
While we were watching it.
Yeah, while we were watching it, about my thought was the timekeepers, the 3 all-powerful beings, blah, 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 make all the decisions. And she made mention, Sylvie did, that
yeah, this was the big
yeah,
twist of the whole show, really.
The big reveal was that all the people who worked for the TVA were originally humans or variants themselves. And what we were led to believe to begin with was that all these people have just always been here.
Yes, they were
But
just
no,
kind of created out of nothing.
They've been,
and apparently they're variants.
They've been like kidnapped, brainwashed, and put into TVA servitude.
Right. Which explained the opening scene to this, because she was like, she explained how she enchanted people.
Yeah.
And she was like, for me to enchant her, I had to pull a memory. Because she pulls memories
that
to
was
the
from
front.
like forever ago.
Yeah, she was like from 100 years ago. So these people have been like just frozen in time as to where they came. Whenever they came, they just kind of froze in time, and I don't know.
So,
do you think you see how they're training Loki and that shit?
Yeah.
Do you think because Loki's not weak-minded, it didn't brainwash him and they've just brainwashed everyone?
Yeah. That was why the enchantment didn't work on Loki.
Right.
Very much the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And it wouldn't surprise me if she is an escaped variant or something along those lines. Maybe she was a Loki that they did capture, and maybe she's escaped. You know, I don't know. There's all kinds of weird stuff that could happen, but my original thought when we were watching this episode, like early in the first 5 or 10 minutes, my thought was that these timekeepers aren't even real. Or maybe they were real at one point. Maybe they've long been dead for thousands of years.
But they just keep
there's
going.
somebody, not the timekeepers, but there's
somebody
pulling the
string
strings
somewhere.
And I think that might be where we get Mr. Kang the Conqueror. Where you may have him pulling the strings from like the quantum realm or something, you know.
True.
But I don't know. You never know. Our main villain may yet to be revealed. As a matter of fact, I know our main villain's yet to be revealed. Might not be Kang, but it's definitely somebody. Who knows? God, it might even be Mobius. You know, wouldn't that be a twist?
Right.
Or maybe it's her. Maybe it's all a big ruse.
Time.
That would be a hell of a little trick, wouldn't it?
God, yeah.
If she ended up being the timekeeper the whole time. I mean,
or Mobius's boss.
Yeah, you never know. You do not know. And that's like...
I have a feeling that it is someone maybe possessing one of these people. Like, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain type thing.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it is Mobius, but not Mobius. Somebody is controlling him. You know?
It's like that episode of South Park where they were trying to figure out who Cartman's dad was.
Yeah.
And it's like, who is the timekeeper? Is it Sylvie? Is it Mobius? Is it the 1994 Denver Broncos? You know?
Right. Like I said, maybe there's just gnomes in a coat.
Oh my God.
That's a Gravity Falls reference.
It would make sense. The Gravity Falls gnomes in a coat is the timekeeper. I mean, hell, you know, y'all don't know. If there's one thing that I noticed, here's the main thing that I figured out from WandaVision. Now, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it wasn't as full of like fan theories and stuff. It was a pretty cut and dry story. Mm-hmm. But like WandaVision, you didn't know what the hell was going on through like half the series, you know?
Yeah.
And
what's going on here? And then, you know, it was Agatha all along, you know.
It was Agatha, and then on top of that, like, you suddenly realize that, you know, this is like a town held hostage and all. Mm-hmm. But, like, not a single freaking theory besides that Agnes was Agatha. That was the only one that really panned out. There were, like, for that one, there were like 100 others that weren't even close.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening here. I don't think anybody's going to figure it out. Like, I could probably just cast a wide net and give about 50 theories, and one of them might be partially correct.
Yes.
Like, you don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be
one of them might be a quarter correct. You had one name correct.
Yeah. I'll just throw it out there. It's just
You're like, at the end, we'll figure it out, and then you were correct.
Yeah. So, what do you give this episode?
It was good. I'm still going to give it a 10, though. I just don't think it was 11 quality for me. Like, there wasn't nothing over the top. I mean, it was interesting to see, hey, these people that work at the TVA are all brainwashed. That was cool. Mm-hmm. It was interesting to see them talk and finally let their guard down just a little bit to get to know each other a little bit. I liked, you know, Loki talking about his mother because, you know, he found out that she died. And so he was speaking of her in a goodwill. And then, because you also got to think, while he's doing all this, you know he has to be grieving for her.
Yeah.
I think that's probably one reason he got drunk. Because he was like, you relax your way, I'll relax mine. He goes and gets drunk. And he's singing in Asgard. So, I'm just going to give it a 10. There just wasn't really anything for me that was just like, oh my God, an 11. I'm
gonna give my rating, but there is something that I want to throw out there. Kind of observation made by the people of the internet that I thought was kind of cool.
Okay.
I'm actually going to give this episode a 9.
Okay.
It wasn't perfect for me.
I struggled with a 10, really.
Yeah.
I just didn't. There was a lot that went on. That's why I gave it a 10.
The special effects, the revelation about a bunch of the stuff, and the interaction between them two were all equal parts what made this such a great episode for me. The main reason it got knocked off a point is because it was really short. And
you weren't happy about that.
I'm not thrilled with the length of this episode. I
Yeah.
really wish we could get 45 minutes minimum
Yeah.
every episode. And I just feel like when they throw a short
That's
episode out
fair.
like that, it's just... I just
You
think
felt
it's
like
kind
they
of
were cheating you
yeah,
a little
like
bit.
like a cheap shot.
That's fine. That's fair.
You know, so... But one thing I do want to throw out before we end is in the first episode... I'm pretty sure it wasn't towards the end of the first episode where he got to see his life.
Yes.
And there was it ended when he died.
Mm-hmm.
And there was he actually saw after he had been stabbed that before it ended he saw Thor holding him and like grieving for him and everything. And there was a article I read that basically said that Loki was still alive while Thor was grieving for him, and he died knowing that
Oh, yeah.
how much Thor loved him and cared for him. And so seeing that was very interesting, because you always assume that Loki was dead right after Thanos
That
threw him
makes
to the
sense.
ground.
Yeah.
But he was still alive for just a
few
little
breaths. Yeah. And, as in real life, they know.
bit. Yeah.
They know before they're completely gone. They can feel everything and hear anything.
Yeah.
And,
But I thought that was kind of neat.
That is neat.
Just a thought.
All right, let's wrap this.
All right. We'll see y'all next time. We're going to be doing a lot of reviews. We're on vacation this week, so you never know. We might have some time to do a little bit extra content. I'd like to do at least one video game stream before the end of the week.
We'll try. We're going to make it.
Yeah, let's see what we can do. All right. Well, I'm Lonnie.
I'm Amberlicious.
We're Untitled Nerd Network. We'll see y'all next time.